Hi and welcome to the video. In this video we're going to be looking at the installation of a Microsoft Windows Server 2019 operating system. In this particular instance we're installing this into a virtual environment, however principally it is the exact same during the installation process on the physical hardware. If you are installing on physical hardware, there are some additional steps post-installation that you will need to take. This will include software or driver installation, firmware updates, and possibly the remote management card configuration. They will be covered in an alternative video, and for the sake of this video we're just going to be covering the actual installation of the operating system. So before you power on your device, whether it be physical or virtual, you're going to need to make sure you have your media with the Windows Server 2019 edition attached, either in the form of a USB bootable drive or DVD installation media or any other external device that you'll be using for this. Once that's connected, we're going to power on the machine, and during the power up process, if the boot priority is already set to that particular device, you'll be presented with the press any key, which we will do now, and that will continue to load the media files. If you aren't presented with this option, you can use the function keys, escape, tab or delete key, depending on the vendor of the hardware, to be able to access the boot menu, and then you can boot from that media. Once you have booted, you'll be presented with the Windows Server 2019 setup page initially, and there's a few configuration options to start with. Number one will be the language to install. In this case it's English United States. Time and currency format, we're actually going to change that to English United Kingdom, and the keyboard or input method, again that's United Kingdom in this instance. Again, change these to the preference or your preferred language. Once that's done, we're going to click on next, and it's going to ask us to either install now with the main button in the middle, or alternatively in some situations if you're trying to repair a device, you can use the repair your computer option. As I say, for this is the installation, so we're going to go ahead and click install now, and that's going to go ahead and start to put the setup files across into the temporary storage so we can install the operating system. The first option we're going to be given is the operating system to install. Depending on the media that you've chosen, you may have multiple versions. In this case we have Windows Server 2019 Standard as well as Data Center editions, and you'll also notice that there is a desktop experience for each one as well. The main point to bear in mind at this point here is that if you choose the non-desktop experience, you're installing a core edition. This means that there will be no graphical user interface or GUI, and if you install the desktop experience model, you will get that desktop experience or the GUI, the graphical user interface. For this particular instance, we're going to go ahead with the installation of the Windows 2019 Standard, in this case evaluation, desktop experience option, which is a 64-bit architecture. So we're going to select that and click next. Prompted for the license agreement, which we're going to accept, and then we're going to click on next again. And at this point we're going to be prompted with either an upgrade or custom. As this is a brand new installation, we're going to do the custom install, so we're going to click on custom, and then it's going to ask us on which drive we would like to install the Windows operating system. In this particular instance we only have one drive listed, which is all we're going to need to do, so we're going to select that one if it's not already, and then we're going to click on the next button. Obviously if you have more than one drive, please ensure you select the correct drive, and if you are using multiple partitions for any reason, ensure that you ideally wish to install it on the starting partition. At this point now it's going to go ahead and copy the files across and get ready for the installation. Depending on the machine and the media you're using, this can vary in time as to how long this will take, but we're going to go ahead and pause the video and we'll come back to it nearer completion. As we've completed the installation, it's now going to check for any features and updates. It's a good time to note that if you are connected to an internet via a network cable, and it can detect and install the driver, it will attempt to update any of the features and updates that are available. In this particular instance we're building this offline, so we won't have any to do, and then it will ask you to restart. You can either wait for that or click the restart now. So we're going to go ahead and click restart now. You can now remove any installation media that you were using, such as DVD or USB bootable devices, and the installation of the operating system will continue. At this point, the operating system is attempting to install any additional drivers that it has already. These will be generic, mostly, and within this particular virtual environment, the VMware host will attempt to install any additional bits that we need to in the first instance. However, if you are on physical hardware, again, it will be installing the base level drivers to give you very basic functionality. And in another video that we go through, we'll go through the actual installation of the latest drivers as and when they're required. So during the customization settings, we're going to be asked to present a password. In this particular instance, the username is already defaulted to administrator. This is normal on any new operating system like this. So we're going to go ahead and enter a password. It's important to try and make sure these are secure passwords, as this will be the built-in local administrator account in the first instance. So once you've done that, we're going to click on the Finish button. And in this particular instance, as you can see, if it doesn't meet the complexity of the requirement, it will warn you. And at that point, you can just enter a new password, one that meets the complexity requirements. And providing the new password meets the complexity requirements, you can click on Finish, and it will finalize the settings. At this point here, it's going to take you to the logon screen, and we're going to go ahead and log into this now. It's going to prompt us for the password once again, so we type that in. And it's now going to build our user profile. Again, depending on the machine you're using, it can take a couple of seconds to a few minutes. And at this point here, it's going to present you with the desktop, and it'll open up what is known as the Server Manager. This completes the installation of the operating system. And at this point here, you have a baseline install of the Windows Server 2019, in this case standard, with the desktop experience. As I say, you will need to consider if this is a physical machine, additional steps which include the software for the drivers, firmware updates, and also the remote management cards if they're installed. However, for this particular video, this completes the installation of the operating system. If you check out the next few videos, we will go into the actual the additional steps you'll need to take for those physical machines.